A few minutes ago, we got a full banner roadmap for Genshin Impact patches 7 through 7.3, and it covers the first half of Snezhnaya, new stellar reactions, Archon reruns, and a lot of first-time characters finally showing up, Zibai, Varka, and of course the Tsaritsa herself. Make sure to join our Discord family for fun competition and future giveaways. So stick around for this because there's a lot to break down. Let's get into 7 first. This is the opening patch for Snezhnaya, and we're looking at 2 new 5-star characters and 1 4-star. The first 5-star is a Cryo character described as a stellar reaction support, most likely female based on what we're hearing. The new mechanic here is this stellar reaction system, and it seems like different elements are getting their own specific variant of it. So this Cryo unit is the debut for that mechanic in the context of the new region. The other 5-star and 7 is a tall Anemo male character, which lines up with previous information we've seen. Both of these are the headliners for the first Snezhnaya banners, and they set the tone for what's coming in terms of the new reaction system. There's also an Electro 4-star character in 7, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be the free character you get when you start the new region. Think about it. Hoyoverse has consistently given out a free 4-star from the new region at the start of every major update. Lynette was free at the start of Fontaine, Kachina was free at the start of Natlan, so a free Electro 4-star for Snezhnaya fits that pattern perfectly. It's a good way for them to get players interacting with the new stellar reaction mechanic immediately without having to pull for anyone. On the rerun side, 7 is where we get one of the long-awaited Archon reruns. Zhongli, Nahida, and Venti are the top candidates here, and honestly, any of them could show up because their last reruns were a long time ago. Let me break down why each one makes sense. Zhongli hasn't been seen in a while, and he fits the Snezhnaya storytelling vibe well since he has direct lore connections to the Cryo Archon. Nahida hasn't shown up in a while either, and she's one of the most valuable Archons to rerun for new players coming into the region. Venti is probably due for his rerun too because it's been some time. Farina's unlikely because she just had a rerun recently. And Raiden? I don't think she has a chance here because she's reportedly getting her rerun in 6.7, which is right before 7 anyway, so she'd be way too close. But the interesting thing is, she actually fits perfectly with the new stellar reaction system considering her element and playstyle, so maybe she'll get a dedicated rerun later in the Snezhnaya patches. Personally, I think Zhongli or Venti has the best shot for 7. Alongside the Archon rerun, Zibai and Varka are both waiting for their first ever reruns. I mean, Zibai came out during 6X patches and has been nowhere since, and Varka has been teased for so long that his first rerun actually being in Snezhnaya makes sense narratively. At least one of them should finally get their moment in 7. Moving to 7.1, this patch is stacked. We've got an Anemo Stellar Swirl 5-star character and a Hydro Support 5-star named Vodyanitsa. Now, Vodyanitsa is interesting because she was previously rumored to be Electro based on older info, but according to Full Stop Chan, that information was either changed or incorrect. So she's looking like a Hydro Support now, and that actually makes more sense for the Snezhnaya roster since we already have the Electro 4-star from 7 and the Electro Stellar Superconduct unit coming in. 7.2, also in 7.1 there's a 4-star Anemo Stellar Swirl unit, so the stellar reaction system is expanding quickly across both rarity tiers. They're not gatekeeping it behind 5-star characters only. For reruns in 7.1, whichever Archon didn't run in 7 will probably show up here. Hoyoverse has a pattern of stacking Archon reruns back-to-back early in a new region, so if Zhongli is in 7, then Venti or Nahida is likely here. One of Varka or Zibai should get their rerun here depending on who goes first in 7, and there's also a possibility of Nicole or Linnea making an appearance. Also, don't forget about our 15 Welkin Moon giveaway at 54,000 subs. Just need 400 subscribers more, guys. And to participate, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button, like the video, and comment. That's it. 7.2 shifts focus to Electro. We're getting a 5-star Electro Stellar Superconduct character, and it's confirmed male from what I've seen described. This might be a tall daddy type character, which has been a highly requested archetype for a while now. The stellar reaction variants for different elements really take shape here. Cryo got its variant in 7, Front Anemo got Stellar Swirl in 7.1, and now Electro gets Stellar Superconduct in 7.2. That's 3 elements getting their own unique version of this new mechanic across 3 consecutive patches, which is a much bigger mechanical shift than just one reaction. This looks like an entire elemental identity rework across multiple characters. Reruns in 7.2 are mostly speculative right now, but Nicole or Linnea are both waiting for their reruns. They came out during the mid-6X cycle and haven't been seen since. So 7.2 would be a reasonable window for at least one of them to come back. Now 7.3, this is the one everyone's been waiting for. The Tsaritsa, the Cryo Archon, is finally debuting. It's been years since we first heard about her in the story, and she's the last remaining Archon to become playable. This is a massive patch, no matter how you look at it. Alongside her, there's an Electro Support 5 star. So even in the Tsaritsa's own patch, they're still introducing new Snezhnaya characters. For reruns, Sandrone is a potential return, which would make this patch absolutely brutal for anyone trying to save Primogems. I mean, think about it, the playable Cryo Archon for the first time ever plus Sandrone in the same banner cycle? That is an insane lineup, and I already know the comments are going to be split on which banner to go for. One thing worth noting, there is no Pantalone anywhere in this roadmap and no Dendro character either. We were expecting Pantalone might be a Dendro unit based on older speculation and some earlier statements. But if he's not Dendro and he's not in this 7 through 7.3 lineup, it could mean a few things. First, he could have been delayed to mid or late Snezhnaya patches around 7.4, 7.5, or 7.6. Second, his design or element could be getting reworked internally. Third, and this is the worst case, he could be cancelled entirely. But since this lineup doesn't name every single unreleased character in development, there's still a strong chance he shows up later, just not in the first half of the region. Looking at the overall picture of this roadmap, the early Snezhnaya pacing is aggressive. We're looking at 2 new 5, stars in 7, 2 in 7.1, 1 in 7.2, and 2 in 7.3, including the Archon. That's 7 new 5-star characters across 4 patches, and that is absolutely insane for anyone's Primogem savings. And these aren't random fillers either. They're almost all tied to a new region-specific reaction system that's going to define the entire Snezhnaya meta, just like Night Soul defined Natlan. I think this stellar reaction system is going to be the biggest mechanical shift since the elemental reaction system itself got revamped. Hoyoverse is clearly betting big on this being the identity of the region. From what we can piece together about the reaction system itself, Cryo gets a stellar reaction support in 7 directed at the Cryo version of the mechanic. Anemo gets Stellar Swirl in 7.1, which makes sense since Anemo historically interacts with Swirl. Electro gets Stellar Superconduct in 7.2. Each element gets its own specific variant tied to the new regional mechanic, similar to how Natlan had Night Soul and Phlogiston as the core identity, but much more combat focused. This is a much bigger deal than just adding one new reaction. It's a structural change to how Cryo, Anemo, and Electro characters will function going forward. That's all for this video. Let me know in the comments which patch you're saving for and what your pull plans look like. I know a lot of you are going to be watching the Tsaritsa patch very carefully. Thanks for watching and peace out.